Hello and welcome. This is Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I'm RJ. I'm joined by the wonderful, the amazing, the fantastic, the talented.
Yes, but you're free to call me Morski.
So, you were playing Hugh. What's Hugh been up to recently? What's the haps with him?
What's been happening with you? Well, he had a very wild ride recently, known as a very grave situation. She's kind of been recovering after that, keeping an eye on March, and on today's day, he's probably been chilling at home. Work has probably started up again for March. Hugh managed to get a bunch of books from the library recently, when he said hi to Crairy. So now's a good day to actually just sit at home and do some reading, do some figuring out.
Yeah, cause you've been doing a little bit of research, haven't you? Uh,
Sure
who
have.
how far do you think Hugh's gotten with his research? Bearing in mind he wasn't Craigery who got one nat 20 and then just fucked up entirely.
Yeah, to be fair, Hugh got like that freaking, was it a 23 or a 24?
Yeah,
Either way. Oh, he got a 19 on his Arcana right now. Should I
nice.
try rolling religion as well?
Yeah, religion or history, whichever.
I'm going with history because he has proficiency in that. He does not have proficiency in religion,
Valid.
hilariously enough. And that's an
Oh, okay.
11.
Yeah, okay.
I I
I
think Hugh has figured a little bit out, just like he's certain that so like the different fates he's recognized previously, he's aware that they're one of the 9 fates that's connected to the weave. And yeah, they were definitely on a demiplane. That wasn't fun.
fuck, dude, they sure were.
He's been on multiple demiplanes at this point. Neither of them were fun, but I guess
Gods.
that's not here.
Hugh and his tendency to be collected by deities, Jesus. Um,
Honestly, yeah.
I think with that 11, you don't manage to get much of a history behind the weave. You know what it is, and you know that it's there, but you don't really know where it came from or who worships it or anything like that. Um,
Yeah.
but as you're just perusing your books and making some notes, there's a knock at the door.
Cool. I guess there's only one thing to do. Just kind of go down and open the door. And that's what Hugh does. Who's at the door?
Well, it's rather strange. There's no body at the door. What there is a kind of vaguely humanoid looking shadow.
Shadows say anything.
It does actually. It goes, hello. You're Hugh, yes?
Yeah, I am. Hi there?
Hello. May I come in?
Yeah, sure. And I think he's gonna scramble back a bit and open the door some more to let Death come on in. um, it's been a little while. I don't know how to start this conversation, and Hugh's hair fluffs up, and he's a bit shy, honestly.
Oh, baby. Um, well, the shadow just kind of looks around the apartment a little bit. Um, takes in the books, takes in the notes. Um,
Takes in all the knickknacks and shenanigans, and like if Death wants to roll perception to see what's
absolutely.
around in the house, they
Absolutely, they
can.
will. Let me just grab my dice. This thing was doing me good yesterday, except for the fucking zeros. Oh, that's good. That's, what the hell is that? Sheet, where did you go? Ah. God, I got too many tabs open.
Oh man. Valid and
Okay,
mood,
+7.
honestly.
That's that much. What that is an
Oh
actual
boy.
number. I don't. It's like 25, I think.
Yeah, it is 25. And oh boy, yeah, this place is lived in, and you can see bits and pieces from both Hugh and March here. And you can see notes from some other people. A painting that was drawn by a two new figure has connections to Prismatone, because I get the feeling Death would be aware of them.
Oh yeah.
Um, there are. Hey, so how familiar is Death with Decimal? Death at least knows that Decimal is like quite fond of cards, right?
Oh, Death is very familiar with Decimal.
You can actually see they're not actual cards. They're a practice card deck, but you can actually see them on the table. Seems like he was practicing with them a bit recently.
Go ahead and roll insight.
Okay. And I get to do this
15.
with advantage, so let's see how this goes.
15 or 16. Okay.
16.
Yeah. You do notice as Death walks in, takes a look around, they spot the cards, and they kind of just go still a little bit. Um, they don't say anything. They don't. There's no like visible reaction other than the stillness, because just humanoid shadow. But there you go.
It's like, well, he's probably closed the door because, hey, that's smart. Um, I think he's then gonna go, is everything okay?
How is he?
Um, okay, I think. Uh, he's been visiting every now and again. It's nice. Gets into trouble a bunch. And just, if you want, you can roll insight on Hugh.
14 plus 11.
Holy
25.
bleep. Holy bleep, Death. Um, with that, I think you can tell that number one. So, I think it's fair to say Hugh and Decimal are friends at this point. And he's quite fond of him, and he's kind of worried of the scuffles Decimal seems to keep on getting into, but he does think he's doing all right. He's living his life.
That's good. I was worried he would do something stupid. But it seems he's made a rather good life for himself.
You say I was like Dev says I was worried he'd do something stupid, and Hugh has like a look on his face. It's he's not sure what kind of look it is, but it sure is a look. It's really insight again, I
Sure,
guess.
yeah. That's 26.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you only needed a 10 to beat this one.
I basically can't roll below a 12, my dude.
Oh my goodness, never yeah, no, that's fair. Remember how Decimal tried to jump out of the packing window when he was hurt? So, like, Hugh considers that stupid, but he'll be nice and not say anything out loud.
I sense by that look I might have been mistaken.
He tried to jump out of the window one time. He came here and he got into a scuffle. I stopped him. It was fine. He actually rested afterwards, but
That's just like casually meanders over to the window and takes a peek down. How high up from the ground are they?
say this is boy, I need to remember how you say this. This is like the level above ground floor.
Okay. It's only 2 stories. He would have been fine.
Hugh just gives Death a look of, huh? To be fair, there's also a tree out from that side. And Hugh has figured by now that's how Decimal gets inside of the house. He climbs on the tree and then gets to the window that way. But oh boy.
I think Death catches that reaction and is just like, he's a cat. He knows how to fall.
I'm now thinking, uh, how aware would you say Hugh? What do you think I should roll to see how aware Hugh is of Decimal's catness? Because he did see the claws, but
I think. I mean, either insight or maybe flat intelligence. I don't know.
I'll
Whichever's
go with
better.
flat. Honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag. The flat intelligence is a +4, but the insight is with advantage.
Whichever.
I I feel like the flat intelligence fits more because it's never been outright stated, but Hugh has seen
12.
some things. Do you think Hugh catches it with this?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, just Hugh has a moment of, oh, wait, that actually makes sense.
The weave can be subtle with its redesigns, but there's usually some animal influence.
Okay. Do you want to sit at the table and do you like tea and cookies? Because I can bring that out.
Tea would be wonderful, thank you. And
Cool.
they will just take a seat at the table.
Yeah, he's like gonna pick up the playing cards and slip them back into his hammer space, and he's cause hey, that is on his fumble chart.
Hee hee.
And mm?
Hee hee.
Yeah. And he's gonna go ahead and make that tea. And coming back, he has brought cookies for himself, and there's a little extra if Dev wants any. Um, so I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that you've come here to ask some things and answer some things. I'm kind of surprised you came here of all places. Like, I guess I know I was there, but I figured you'd go to Craigery.
That would, of course, assume I know where Craigery lives.
Oh, oh, how did you figure out where I live?
I keep an eye on Decimal. I've seen him here several times.
Oh, okay. Can you roll insight on this?
Insight or Arcana?
Huh. Okay, let's go.
Rip.
No!
I'll give you advantage. I'll give you advantage.
That was a 9. I'm like, yes, Arcana because +7,
Dice
but
Forcer, please. Dice Forcer, please!
holy bleep. I think
Not
it's
2
fair
and not
to say.
1. Jesus.
Oh my god. You know what's a thing that we can confirm with this and how Hugh got a 2 and only a 2 when trying to figure out decimals who weave shenanigans? Hugh knows magic, but the weave stuff, that's that's pretty out there. Hugh doesn't really know about that sort of magic.
I think Death catches the confusion and then clarifies, I can scry. Because this was literally a spell thing. This wasn't a weave thing.
There's like a beat. There's like literally a beat, and Hugh again has the oh. Oops. He like rubs the back of his head. I. Okay, I mean that makes sense actually. Are you kind of Decimal's guardian? or like do you look out for him? Cause that's at least the feeling I've gotten by now.
Roll insight.
Ooh, please be better than the picking arcana. Well, let's roll
You have
again.
advantage.
Oh, that was 7 picking. Let's go.
14. Okay.
So we'll take that 17.
Um. Hmm. With a 17, when you ask, are you Decimal's kind of guardian? There is again that subtle still. And you're not sure how you know, but you get the feeling that they're looking away from you.
I guess if Death wants to, they can roll insight on Hugh, but Hugh at this moment is thinking, oh boy, are Death and Decimal equally bad at emotions? That would make so much sense.
Yikes, this is not good for them. That's a fucking 20, that's a 19.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, straight up from that, Death gets like, Decimal does this too. Is this a family thing for them?
There's a pause. They one hand comes up and just rests on the table, fingers like rapping out a beat. And then they go, I met him after his redesign. I didn't know him long, but I I cared for him for a while. And then I had to leave.
Oh, well, okay. Hugh's actually not sure what to say here. But you know what? Hugh does have a question to ask after a moment. Um, so I know I've been calling you Deaf by now, but that's more of a job description or a title, right? Uh, if you're okay with sharing, what's your name?
There's like a soft little laugh. Depending on who you ask, death is my name. It is my title. I am the fate of death, but most most don't ask my chosen name.
I mean, it's still yours, isn't it?
It was. You can call me Rosetta.
Okay, well, I guess nice to meet you, Rosetta. And he's gonna give a little smile at the shadow. I think he's going to sip on his tea a bit.
Yeah. Rosetta picks up her own cup and takes a sip before delicately putting it down and goes, so, I believe you have questions for me, and I have questions for you. How about we trade off?
Sure. Um, I get. I guess a good thing to ask first is do you understand these pendants? And Hugh is going to pull out from his coat pocket a rather familiar looking pendant for some people. The golden one he got from Tangled
Mm-hmm.
Strings.
Yeah. Immediately the kind of air that Rosetta is putting off darkens, and she sighs. Fates have the ability to create items that manipulate their fates.
Huh.
Rikishi, how much were you able to find out about her? About M?
I only know that ere the fate of ruin, a and now Hugh's going to roll hammer space because this thing happened. Okay, Hugh pulls out what looks like it's almost a streamer or something. It looks like a bunch of tangled golden strings. There's stars on it. It's pretty. And Hugh just kind of holds this and says, apparently A bought this from a vendor. I I got this by accident. I don't even know what to do with it, but they've been around apparently. I haven't seen him though. This is said more quietly, but I'm glad I haven't seen him.
Peace and I have been doing our best to keep M trapped in air demiplane.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, besides the point. A couple hundred years ago, there used to be all 9 fates, an avatar for each.
He nods at that.
We were spread around the entire world. One of us, at least, on each continent. Rikishi. I don't know what happened. I only know what the Weave told me. But Rikishi killed the other avatars and ascended to full fatehood.
Well then, can you roll insight on this? I get
Sure.
the feeling he should. Well, that isn't the best. Let's hope the second one is better.
14. Okay. Um. You can tell this is a subject that Rosetta is not comfortable with, in that it angers her that this happened, that Rikishi was able to gain this much power.
Oof.
But you can also tell she doesn't know a whole lot about what actually happened herself. This is all coming secondhand from what the Weave has told her.
Boy. Hugh is like just Hugh is seeing a fellow soul because this is reminding him of what he knows about the incident over in Yeast.
Mm.
I'm gonna say like Hugh has noted this, but also there's not really much he can say right now, so he's listening intently.
Yeah. Um, Rosetta takes another sip of the tea and then continues. In ascending the way A did, Rikishi has powers that A shouldn't have. Ordinarily, the only thing that can change any fate, like those pendants can, is the weave itself.
Okay
Ordinarily,
then.
ordinarily, the only item Rikishi would be able to make that could manipulate fate would be to avert or to cause ruin. I sense that that item does do that in part, but it is not the primary function.
Hmm. It's Gregory has been doing some fiddling around with them, and from what he and I can tell, then yeah, these items are definitely magical and they're kind of attuned to each of us, or our respective pendant is. But according to him, apparently, if something's like going wrong, or well, actually, When Krager and I were trying to find books on the Weave, he was not getting any luck on that for the moment, but then he suddenly had a whole lot of books. One moment, like it's like he just suddenly got them when I wasn't looking, and apparently he used the pendant to kind of give him a burst of good luck. But then afterwards, there's always a kickback. Apparently, like he then immediately dropped all those books, and it was an adventure getting them back to the table.
That doesn't surprise me. Manipulation of fate is difficult, and there is always a balance.
Sense.
To incite a good fortune, a ill one must be created.
Okay. Hugh is inside of his head going, okay, so deity shenanigans. This makes sense. Out of curiosity, Rosetta, are you or Peace able to make your own demiplane?
We don't make our demiplanes.
Yeah?
The demiplanes exist with or without an avatar. When an avatar is created, once they are made aware of their power and gain sufficient amounts of it, they're able to connect to the demiplane. Myself and Peace can access our demiplanes. Decimal cannot. He is not powerful enough yet as a fate.
Okay. Does Decimal know this stuff?
Yes and no. He The Weave of Fate made a deal with him of some description. It didn't tell me specifics, but it pulled him from his previous life and made him into an avatar. And in making him into an avatar, it redesigned him fully. Part of that
Okay.
redesign gave him the knowledge of the fate of chaos, but he doesn't have access to it until he's made aware that he already knows it, if that makes sense.
Alright then. Do you want to roll me insight on Hugh?
Happily. That's 29.
Holy bleep. You know what? Also, it's fair because Hugh is a freaking open book, but Hugh fully intends on telling Decimal what he learns, cause hey, maybe he should tell his friend about the weird stuff that's probably connected to him.
I understand that you feel you should share this information with Decimal, but I ask that you don't.
Hugh blinks. How come? And I'll say with that 29 earlier, you can kind of see Hugh feels bad about not telling Decimal.
According to Peace, he made it perfectly clear he does not want any part of his fatehood, and I think that is. I think that is fair. He was not made aware of what would happen to him when the deal was struck.
Oh. Ah, man, Hugh's thinking. He Because I guess in Hugh's nature, he'd rather just let Decimal know. But also, if he doesn't want to,
How about this? If he comes to you, or comes to Craigery, or any of the others who know and are actively researching, and asks questions, you may tell him then. But do not tell
okay,
him that I told you this. Tell him that you found it out from another source.
okay.
I I do not want
Well,
him to resent me.
oh,
Although I fear I have no say in that matter.
well, I mean, sometimes things happen, yeah, but I guess the best you can do is to be transparent and just give him his own space, right? He'll decide what he wants.
It's very wise.
I haven't really talked to Decimal about this stuff. I get something tells me as well. Like Hugh may have asked Decimal one time, but Decimal would have just told him that no, I'm not speaking about this.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like Hugh would have respected that and not asked further.
There's a brief pause, as Rosetta seems to think on something, and then, um, yeah, yeah, okay. Um, it looks like they reached down under the table or something, and then she pulls up, uh, a deck of cards, and you can tell immediately that they are Taroka cards, and they look very similar to the ones that Decimal has. If slightly older, slightly more worn looking.
Okay.
And
Yeah, he's gonna like blink and brighten up at that because, ha, that's familiar.
all right, okay. So it's in very practiced motions. You can see where um Decimal kind of got some of his technique. Like some of it is inherent talent, a lot of it's inherent talent, but some of the little movements are practiced and very similar to what Rosetta here is doing. And she shuffles it and sets out a reading, but leaves the cards face down.
I think he's gonna blink at that. And I'll say, with how well Rosetta has been rolling insight by now, like she's going, I'd say she'd be aware that, like Hugh, it seems like Hugh recognizes the movements. I'm
Hmm.
sure she can connect to who. I, who's the reading for?
She doesn't actually answer your question. Instead, she goes, "Do you know the first time I heard him laugh, Mr. Script?"
Just call me Hugh if you want. Um, and, when?
We'd gone to a carnival, but we had a little fortune store that we would do. And we'd done that for a few hours, and we were just wondering at this point. And we came across a comedy routine, uh, a slapstick duo. It was admittedly very impressive. I don't know if you've noticed this, but Decimal's never been good at physical comedy. The Weave's redesign does many things, but it can't fully erase the past. It can't fully erase the hold that it has on you.
I
Any
mean,
any injuries that he
that's
gets tend to be serious. Have you noticed?
yeah. It's I mean, at the end of the day, our past is our past. Yeah.
Mm.
It is still what formed us. I He's just gonna be kind of quiet then, cause yeah, Hugh has certainly noticed.
She 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 also pauses for a moment and then like shakes herself out of whatever memory she was reliving, and she continues. The duo was obviously very well practiced. One of them had a large plank of wood, was throwing it around, turning this way and that. Um, the other one, it was most impressive. They leapt, must have
Yeah.
been 12, 13 feet straight into the air, turned about 180 degrees, and came back down on top of the on top of his partner. They both went down in a tangle of limbs.
Oh,
It's part of the show. Neither of them were injured, but you know, I didn't even notice that he was laughing at first.
yeah.
When he laughs, when he actually laughs, not that sardonic little chuckle that he has, he wheezes. When he's truly helplessly amused, it all dissolves into wheezes and silent grins.
Sounds really nice. And gonna tell you right now, Hugh has a small smile of his own, and he actually has the starry eyes because he's trying to imagine what that comedy do must have been like.
Do you want to know how old he was?
How? Or it's like, and then Hugh stumbles over his words a bit. It's how old was he?
He was 15.
Oh,
He was 15, and I. By that point, I'd known him for almost 5 years. Almost 3 years, sorry. And that was the first
okay.
time I heard him laugh.
Oh, I I don't really know much of anything about his past, but I know it's been a lot. But I'm glad I met him.
You've been very good for him. He,
I-
as much as he tries to deny it, he's grown close to you.
Hugh blinks at this and he's just kind of going, oh, because he wasn't really aware of that. I'm glad. Be honest with you as well. It's just like it's like kind of small, but just he's really glad about this, and just like He is now quietly planning. Is there something I can do to surprise Desmond in a good way next time he visits?
Um, she turns over the cards.
It's just like Hugh sitting here, and it's just like time to plan for stuff. It's nice. It's nice to surprise his friends. And well, what do we have?
I randomly generated these. It's just prefacing this with I randomly generated these.
Oh boy. That's. I want you to know the way you said that is really ominous. Thanks.
It should be because this is stupidly fit. This is stupidly fitting. Um,
Oh boy.
so the first card that turns over is so the cards are laid out in like a cross. So there's a card in the middle and then four cards on the outside. And the card in the middle is the first one she turns over, and she goes, "This is the subject card."
Okay.
Unsurprisingly, it is the seer. I don't. You've probably figured this out by now, but each of the fates has their own specific Taroka card. Rikishi's is the horseman, mine is the executioner, and Decimal's is the seer.
Okay. Right. He had that on his pendant too.
Yes. This card, and she turns over um uh which fucking card? I think it's the one on the top. Just double checking this, make sure I get it correct, because there is a specific order that you have to do these in.
Okay.
Yeah, so da, 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 da. Yeah, okay, no, it's for you, it's the card closest to you in the cross. It's the one at the bottom of the cross. And she flips over and then immediately sucks in a breath.
Okay.
This is the card that represents a relevant detail from the past, and it is the Dark Lord.
Oh boy. Should I roll Arcana to see whether he was aware of this knowledge at all? Because, like, he can connect. That's a 10.
I'll give you advantage because by this point you've been hanging around with Decimal enough that I think you've probably seen him do a couple readings.
Probably, yeah.
13.
13.
Card's bad, man.
Oh
Card's
boy.
bad, man.
Hugh looking at this, looking at Dev's reaction, just going, well, that's not good. What do we get to deal with this time? Just in his head going, oh, heck, here we go again.
And she flips over the next card, which it's on her right, your left. And it is the Five of Coins, the guild member. This represents the opposition.
Okay.
Whatever enemy or obstacle you may face. Or he may face, I suppose, in this case.
Okay.
The next card is the card closest to her. It chips it over, and it is the Seven of Swords, the hooded one.
If I may ask, what does the guild, was it member or master?
The guild member.
Yeah, what does the guild member and the hooded one mean?
Give me a moment to reveal the cards, and I can walk you through the reading.
Okay.
The last card is... It represents a good fortune. An ally, a friend, or a boon. And she flips this one over, and it is the Beast. There's a
Hugh's looking at that one in curiosity.
yeah, there's a pause, and she moves her teacup to the side to be able to access the cards better, and she goes, "This reading is for just the general state and potential future of a person or an object. In this case, the subject of the reading is decimal," and she puts a finger on the seer card.
Yeah, Hugh nods with that. He's following.
When you do a reading like this, you tend to interpret the reading through the lens of any high cards that come up. In this case, he has three. He has his subject, his opposition, and his good fortune.
Okay.
Considering the position of the Dark Lord, being that it is a relevant past detail, the Dark Lord represents a single powerful individual of an evil nature, one whose goals are far reaching and consequences severe.
Okay.
He never told me of his past, so I can't give a specific name, but he was running from something when the Weave found him. Which is probably what this card represents.
Are you sure can I at least tell Decimal about this reading? I mean, it's I don't know, I guess not much can be done right now, but it's better to be aware of things than not, right?
Sure. Hmm. And she waits a moment for you to like pull out any note-taking equipment that you might want to use to just write it all down, but she will continue.
Okay, I guess hammer space again, because I think it's fair to say he always has paper and writing stuff. He pulls it out on him.
Dope. Alrighty. Yeah, so she waits for you to like scribble down any notes you want, and then she continues. The next card is the opposition. It's the guild member. It's a low deck card, or a common deck card. Suit of coins tends to represent avarice, desire for material gain, desire for personal gain, gluttony, lust, obsession. On the side of evil, as this position indicates, it represents the worst aspects of greed. Power of gold, and how it can build or destroy. The guild member specifically is like-minded individuals with a common goal. In the context in
Okay.
the context of the Dark Lord, being that I think these cards are linked. Whatever opposition Decimal is going to face, it will be something from his past. And it will have allies.
Hugh doesn't say anything, but just his expression is, oh, okay, that's really ominous. He's writing this all down.
We turn now to a possible future. This is the other common deck card from the suit of swords. Swords, potentially fairly obviously, is aggression and violence. Suit of warriors, be they holy warriors like a paladin, um, ones bound by duty such as a soldier, or motivated by money or glory like a mercenary or gladiator. It
Okay.
also tends towards power, that of governments and leaders, noble or corrupt.
Hugh nods at this.
This card specifically concerns me because the hooded one, it is either bigotry, intolerance, xenophobia, or a mysterious presence. This potential future has an agent that I cannot see. Whether that is good or ill remains to be seen.
So there may be a wrench in the plans. Okay then.
Mm. Whether that will work in his favour, we do not know. And then we come to the final card. The Good Fortune.
The beast, yeah?
Yes. It's curious. The beast is not generally something one would associate with good fortune. It is, well, a bestial nature, great rage or passion, something malevolent hiding in plain sight or lurking just below the surface. I'm honestly not certain how this would benefit him. Hmm.
I mean, he, he's just like, hand under chin and going, well, I mean, life's full of surprises. Maybe whoever this great danger is has enemies. Maybe they decide to team up with Decimal for the moment.
Hmm. She pulls another card from the deck and lays it down beside that card and face up this time, and it is uh, the One of Glyphs, which is the monk. And she hums
Okay.
in thought. The suit of glyphs is faith, spirituality, inner strength. Those who devote themselves to the service of deity or higher power. On the side of good, willpower and dedication. On the side of evil, weakness of character, self-doubt, betrayal of ideals or beliefs. The monk, specifically, is the first of the suit. It is serenity, inner strength and self-reliance, confidence bereft of arrogance. I have to wonder if this means that this boon is arrogance of someone.
I I guess we can only see, but I'll do my best to be there for Decimal.
Thank you. He won't thank you himself, but I will.
Problem. Thanks. Well, this is Hugh. He's smiling cheerily cheerily back at Rosetta.
Okay.
On Hugh's end, it's zero regrets, so he's doing this because he wants to.
Cool. Cool. Um, she sweeps the cards back up, and when she shuffles them all back into one another. One slips out her hand, and comes to rest on the desk, on the table. Um, and she immediately stops what she's doing, puts puts the remaining cards aside, and takes a look at the one that fell. Um,
Hugh's looking on in curiosity. Should he turn it over?
it's face up. Um,
Huh.
Interesting. This card is the five of glyphs. It's the druid.
Okay. What does that mean?
The ambivalence and cruelty of nature, and those who feel drawn to it, or inner turmoil. I don't know if this one doesn't tend to drop cards very often, but a dropped card is always important. It it's information without context.
Huh. Okay.
Hmm. If it happens during a reading, it generally refers to something within the reading itself, but this fell after the cards were gathered.
Maybe it will be important for whatever climax there is to the event.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll history for me real quick.
Okay. Dice
21.
21.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Alrighty.
I imagine you've probably done some research into tarot cards themselves as well, have you not?
You cut out on me a bit towards the end. Think you could repeat that?
Yeah, I imagine Hugh's probably done some research into tarot cards. Probably like if not as an active try and attempt to gather information on the weave, then just as a kind of this is interesting kind of thing.
Especially since she hangs out with Decimal now, it's just like on a side, finding out a little bit more.
Cool. So, in your research, you would have found out as well that a dropped card, if it happens outside a reading, it can refer to whomever is performing the reading themselves.
Okay. Hugh actually blinks at that and he's gonna tell this to Rosetta.
She kind of gives you a little bit of an appraising look and goes, not very many people know that.
Um, I mean, I did a little bit of reading, especially because Desmond talks about this stuff. I don't know everything, but it's nice to learn new things, you know? So, can't always read just for studying. It's good to find out other things too.
Fair enough.
He was also just looking away a bit because he's a little bit shy.
Oh, baby. She regards the card for another moment before sweeping it up into the rest of the deck and putting the deck back. It just like vanishes under the table, but when she brings her hands back out, they're empty. So you figure it probably went into a hammer space or something.
Or like if yeah, here's a question. Can like Hugh do perception or something? Is Rosetta a Toonkind? Or does she have like a hammer space equivalent?
You could try roll perception.
Let's see how badly this goes.
22.
At 22!
Yeah, there's something unmistakably Toon about this figure. And
Cool.
as you twig that, roll history.
Okay. What
25.
does Hugh get with
Yeah,
a
okay.
25?
So, as you twig that, you think back really quick and you realize, huh, Peace didn't have that same Toonish quality.
Uh, yeah, Rosetta, are you a tune? And I think he's gonna take a moment and go. Not all of the fates are tunes, are they? Cause I know Ruin. Well, I know Rikishi was, and Decimal is too. And from what I can tell, so are you. But Peace didn't do this sort of thing.
You've quite the eye. I can see why Decimal likes you so much. You're
I
correct.
think Hugh
I am a Toon.
actually goes a little bit pink at that.
Oh, baby. Yeah, there's a moment of contemplation before, um, the shadow that covers her, kind of shudders and shimmers and then vanishes.
Huh.
And you can see, in front of you, where the fuck? I had this in a specific folder for a goddamn reason. Where is it? There it is.
I'm looking. Oh,
Yep, Cattoon. The shadow was much taller than she actually is.
but
Um,
but she's still taller than Hugh, right?
she's about 5.5 feet tall. Dressed in, uh, you can kind of tell maybe potentially where the weave was taking an influence from, being that she's a Cattoon dressed in a suit.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hugh sure knows a lot of cats in his life now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hugh is like, looking wide eyed, and it's like, oh, that's neat. Okay.
Hmm.
You're pretty.
You make a cat blush. She blushes purple a little bit.
Cool.
You are correct. Peace is not a tune. Though, out of respect for their privacy, I won't reveal any more information about them.
Oh, yeah, no, that's entirely fair.
We don't tend to make what we are very visible. It tends to lead to questions we're not prepared to answer.
Oh, okay. Um, I mean,
In fact, there's only one person who knows what I look like, who knows me as Death. And I'm not even sure they remember.
yeah.
She finishes off her tea, and as she puts the cup down, you can see she does indeed have toe beans.
Okay, I'm so sorry, but you completely cut out for the last bit. Um, yeah, 'cause I heard, which was the last bit you said? So Hugh said that it's entirely fair that like for peace to have their privacy and all of that fun stuff, but Rosetta then mentioned that she and peace generally don't show their true forms, and that there's only one person who knows her.
Yeah, and she's not even sure they remember. And then she
Yeah,
picked up her cup, finished off her tea, and you could see that she does indeed have toe beans.
that is amazing. He does not say this out loud, but he's like, "Okay, cool. This is neat."
I feel like he's enough of an open book that she probably catches that reaction and just kind of smirks at him a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Rosetta,
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you ever want to, you're free to come by here as well. Okay?
I'll take you up on that.
Cool. Um, do you want Decimal to know that you've been here, or would you prefer that that's kept a secret?
Her face folds a little bit.
You feels a bit bad for that, but like he should probably ask.
Yeah. You can see she looks torn. Um, I I know he's been looking for me, but I he doesn't know what I am, which is part of the reason I had to leave.
Can he find out? I mean, he's going to be angry at you for disappearing at him, but I think that's kind of fair. But I don't think he'd leave you forever, you know?
I wish I could believe you, but fate, chaos is the most fickle fate.
I guess, but just because Decimal's the fate of chaos, he's still his own person, too.
She gives you kind of a sad smile. It informs everything he does, whether he realizes it or not. Our fates inform us all, us avatars.
I mean, well, I don't know what it's like myself, but still, you're your own person with your own free will. You may be tied to it, but sometimes you gotta take a chance, right?
Don't tell him I was here yet.
Okay. You wanna know what's something funny from the player's part?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Decimal will be able to tell that yes, someone was definitely here, but like he asked Hugh and he was like, I'm really sorry. Yeah, someone was here, but I can't tell you.
That would that would assume that Decimal cares to know.
Oh
Which
man, that's
chances are
great.
he probably doesn't.
It all works out. Cool.
But oh, the irony. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rosetta will stand up, um, give Hugh a small smile and go, "Well, you've answered all my questions. Do you have any more for me?"
And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's well. I mean, he's like, oh yeah, okay." And it's just like, let me think. Actually, I do have a question. It's. And here Hugh's expression falls a bit, but I hope it's not. I hope it's not too much to ask, but recently I witnessed two deaths. I'm not really sure what to think of them, but it's. Do you have any advice for dealing with that? And here Hugh fidgets a little bit because
Yeah, heavy
he
questions.
sort because Hugh sure witnessed some stuff recently.
She,
And I'll say as well, it's like Hugh figures that she may be the best person to ask because there is her ties, but also she's like the closest thing to a rational adult he knows. There's Lynn for sure, but also um,
yeah, fair.
I'll be honest with you. Rosetta is the closest thing to a rational adult he knows.
Yeah. She lets out a measured breath, and she thinks for a moment, clearly getting her words in order. And then she goes, "Allow yourself time to process. Grief,
Yeah.
grief is individual. How one person experiences it could be widely different to how another person experiences it. There's no wrong way to go about grieving."
Yeah. I guess it's a little conflicting on my end because I never knew them myself. But they were important to someone who's close to me.
You're empathic.
Yet,
That's not a bad thing.
he just kind of rubs the back of his head at that.
The one piece of advice I always offer to everyone is to take things one thing at a time.
Yeah.
The most important step a person can take is the next.
Regardless of what's going on, you can only go forwards after all.
Exactly. And sometimes you may need to slow down to get help with the next step, but, well, that's why we have family. That's why we have friends.
Yeah.
If you need
Thank you.
if you need to talk to anyone in a more professional manner, um, oh god, okay, that was close. She doesn't fumble. She reaches into her sleeve. That was a two. She reaches into her sleeve
Oh
and
my
pulls out a
goodness.
business card and holds it out to you. Um,
Hugh blinks and it's like, oh, okay, thanks. And he takes it.
it's for a therapy office in I've forgotten the name of the town. God damn it.
Halloween Town?
Nope, not Halloween Town. It's in. God damn it, where was it?
Geography, man.
Geography, man. Wardsburg, that was what it was. Yeah, it's a therapy office in Wardsburg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Hugh blinks and, well, he's gonna tuck that into his hammer's face and, yeah. You get a thank you, Rosetta, and, yeah, if you ever want to stop by, you're free to, and, you're taking care of yourself, right? After everything. That must have been a huge fight with, Rikishi. And actually, you know what? I guess this would be insight.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
gonna take a look at Rosetta to see. Oh, okay, that was a
I
dirty 20.
I have to remember the rules for this. All right, yeah, I changed your subclass. What the fuck is your? She gives you a smile, and she goes, "I'm perfectly fine." And it is, it's not a lie. This, but yeah, she's very persuading.
Okay, and Hugh being himself, he buys it.
I mean, that was a fucking 17 plus 12. I hope to God he buys it.
Yeah! Well, I mean, this is my own. As the player coming through looking at this
Yeah,
minorly
no,
disasterly cat.
she's not lying. She's not lying. She is taking
That's
care of
good.
herself. She is also trying to like ease any potential concerns with that persuasion roll.
Okay, that's good. It definitely works. And he's like, okay, I'm glad. Hugh has like a small dot dot dot, and it's just like, do you want a hug? Because I get the feeling it's been a while.
There's another dot dot dot. Um. All right.
Hugh goes ahead and gives a hug. Safe travels, okay?
Thank you. You'll be fine. I know you will. And those words are inspiring. That's you have a D10 inspiration dice.
Holy bleep! That's. I have no clue where he's gonna. I'm just like,
It only lasts 10 minutes. That was just a little flavor thing.
okay, that's cool, but, these dorks. I'm guessing Rosetta is actually gonna go out then, yeah?
Yeah. She will go ahead and leave.
Yeah, I guess he's gonna wave. And I suppose that's where it closes off.
Sure. You do you do one little quick thing before Hugh closes the door. Um,
Yeah?
you notice Rikishi, not Rikishi, Rosetta goes to that tree you pointed out earlier, glances back at you, and then runs at it and like runs up once, twice, and then sinks claws into it and just climbs up and away.
Oh my goodness. Does she pick and go out the window?
No, no, she walks out the door and then climbs up the tree and heads up toward the roof and starts going across the roofs.
My
Because,
goodness.
god damn it, she has the athlete feet and I'm gonna use it for something, for fuck's sake.
Oh my goodness. That's fair, but also that's really funny to me because like Hugh closes the door and it's like, okay, I wonder what I should do next. And then he just sees Rosetta climbing on the tree towards the roof. So like he's like, oh, okay. Just like waves. And I
You
guess
get
he's up.
you get a sneaking suspicion where Decim might have learned his enjoyment of heights from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that
He's now wondering. I just like Hugh seeing that is like, can I learn to climb the tree? Is this something for Decimal and I to do next time? Just hang on the roof together? Hmm.
Oh my god.
It'll probably end badly, but this is a hilarious image.
Well,
Badly for Hugh. We'll see how it goes.
I think,
Oh
yeah,
my
I think we zoom
goodness.
out from there.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
for.
doing this with me.
Oh yeah, it was no problem. This was great. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Alrighty.